Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're well. Hope you're having a good week so far as well. As always, it's great to see loads of you in the live chat waiting, ready to go for today as well. So good afternoon to you, or good morning, good evening, based on wherever you are in the world. Hello to Zato, Evilisa, Badger, hello guys, living on a player, welcome. Ian, good day to you, good evening rather for you over in Western Australia. Michael, hello to you as well. You join us as always on Microsoft Flight Simulator with the world's fastest terminal train. I've got to watch that again. Here at Johannesburg, the Gaffer Simulations payware scenery for the airport here, and we're back in the PMDG 737-800 for a flight from Joburg here down to Port Elizabeth, the bottom of South Africa. And it's a I've said this before actually, to be fair, in relation to where was it? In Australia, wasn't it? I can't remember where. It will come to me. This is kind of like the Skiathos of South Africa. It's a good way to compare airports sometimes with runway lengths and level of difficulty on approach. But we're flying a Comair route today. Where's this train? It is literally the world's fastest train. Oh, that's all I'm waiting for at the moment. Chris, hello to you. Welcome, Doc. Good evening. Is this the right place? There it is. Look at what is that? Absolute madness. Oh dear. Anyway, I can't look at that anymore. It would distract me for eternity. If you're new to the channel, it's great to have you with us today. Hit like and subscribe. Don't forget to press that notification bell as well. If you want to pick up either of these two airports, both of which, in fact, or OR Tambo here at Johannesburg and Port Elizabeth, both created by Gaffer Simulations. They're on Sim Market. They're also available via AnyBuilds too, so a couple of options for you there. I'd recommend AnyBuilds over Sim Market because Sim Market's crap. Darts channel, Paul, welcome guys. So, we've got the jetty attached, apparently, and as promised in Discord, we're cold and dark today because we're only doing one sector. So, let's get them all fired up with GSX. There she is in the British Airways livery. We are flying Comair today, which licensed the livery use from British Airways. No longer in operation, though, sadly. C-stops in May or June last year, I think it was, due to safety issues. But they were the only kind of operator in the 737 wearing a British Airways livery, which is quite cool. Let's board the crew, because we are the pilots. So, diving into the flight deck. Cold and dark, as we mentioned before. So, what do we do? What does that button do? Oh, it's that one. I forget sometimes PMDG put these little things in here. Pretty cool. Anyway, we don't need to barricade the door just yet. Let's fire up. Jay, good morning to you. Delta Tango, good morning as well. Always the same old questions from aviation nerds. Battery emergency lights armed and on. Guards closed. Ground power on. Looking up. Let's align the IRS. Pop the window heats on. Voice recorder goes on as well into manual. Hydraulics go on. And we'll do the yaw dampers shortly. Boss lights are on steady. And we've got our new sky tracking away as well. So, cruise today. I actually can't remember what we've set for cruise. 340. CRZ, flight level 340 for my notes. And as always as well, it's worth saying, a massive thank you to VATSIM Sub-Sahara Africa Division. They've seen that we're streaming today and flying around wonderful South Africa. So what have they done? They've given us full ATC. Really, really cool. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. Squawk set to 2000 already. We're not on any frequencies yet. We're just going to turn our attention to the FMC to sort out our POS in it, to align the IRS. And we're on FAOR. Gate Echo 9. We were planning on Echo 8, but Echo 8 doesn't exist on the thing here, and the scenery here, oddly enough. And there we are, systems all slowly firing up. Now I've already gone ahead and set up the fuel, 9,271 kilograms. And I've set up the payload as well to match our SimBrief flight plan. 137 passengers and about 3 and a bit tons of cargo, giving us a gross weight of 66,700 kilograms, so 66.7 ton, and a zero fuel weight of 57.4 tons. Takeoff centre of gravity set there at 20% recommended, and it's within the maximum takeoff weight limits of 79.3. So we'll go back to the route page, because we now turn our attention once more to, clear that, the Universal Flight Tablet from PMDG. Oh, absolutely, Delta Tango. It's a bit of a different experience in the UK, sadly. So we've all got a SimBrief alias done, weather source set to Sim, on-screen keyboard is off, HPA, oh, it's got a, needs me to do this again, does it? So navigraph.com/code. If you don't know how to use this tablet, folks, last Sunday, prior to the PMDG release, I went ahead and created a full tutorial showing you all of its features in its current form, offering some advice, tips and tricks on how to use it, how to set up SimBrief and everything else as well. So I highly recommend that you take a look at that if you want to learn how to use the Universal Flight Tablet in a nice way. Boyd, hello. Ethan as well, how's it? I believe you're our ground controller as well, actually, Ethan. Thank you very much. Where are you? You are ground. Lovely. Welcome. So we're going to request our data from SimBrief. Condor, not Condor, Comair 6237, alternate of Cape Town, average winds 245 at 56, and company route or Tambo to Port Elizabeth. Lovely job. We can pop our weather on there, and we're going to turn across. I'm going to switch map to Navigraph because it always looks really good. And initially we'll go for IFR low. FAOR, FAPE, company routes, flight plan request, and our flight number CAW 6237. It's not going to let me in, is it? There we go. We'll put that in a second. Make sure basically we match that little field there. Co-route FAOR FAPE. That's what it's looking for. And we can load the routes. Good afternoon, commentator. Welcome. And Dwyle, good to see you. Hope you guys are well. Now, I'd be quite tempted here to just start clicking away at everything. Just wait until it says route data uplink. And if it offers you the opportunity to activate it, you can flick across and you can have a little look at the routing itself. So for this, what I'll do is I'll get New Sky up because we're tracking it on our virtual airline client today, as always. And we're going to find our route string here. APDAC, direct Neven, and then uniform Quebec 8 airway to Ulcat. And that's it. That's the route. Nice and short and sweet. In fact, you don't really need SimBrief integration for these kind of routes. So we'll activate that, press execute. We can go to the legs page, pull in the route data and do the winds request. Yeah, the not BNXO, hello to you as well. Are you controlling as well today? I think you are, aren't you? Very exciting. Thank you guys, I do appreciate the turnout. Aviation Nerd. Basically, Aviation Nerd is that loser behind the skies that goes and spams everybody because he doesn't have anything better to do in his day-to-day life. So he spams loads of content creators with about 40 or 50 different channel names. Pretty sad. I try and tolerate it, but it does get boring, doesn't it? What have we got here? So, perf in it. In fact, I think I've missed a little bit, haven't I? Wait. So we've done that. Let's put our flight number in. That's what I wanted to do earlier, wasn't it? So Charlie Alpha Whiskey 6237. Done. And then we can look over at the perf init page and we can request that. Yeah, the winds are pretty balmy at Port Elizabeth today, so I'm looking forward to it. And the runway is super short, to the point where we're going to be using maximum auto brake in order to try and stop the jet on touchdown. So we've had to think about loading quite carefully as well to make sure that we're not too heavy, meaning that our speed on approach and our touchdown is too fast because we'll run out of runway. Pop that in.
Vehicles are on their way.
Transition altitude then, so we need the charts, don't we? Let's dive into the charts for the first time today. We've got them on the Universal Flight Tablet, but I'll use Navigraph as an overlay for the screen for you guys so that it's a bit easier for us to all watch. Absolutely, Evile, so it is literally whack-a-mole with that guy. It's almost a sport in itself. Moderators, of course, don't get enough thanks. Cruise winds, we need that in the flight plan as well. So 8,000 for the transition altitude. I think the cost index was 30, wasn't it? Yeah, cost index of 30. So we're going to just amend that. And 57.4 reserves. I do love this tablet. It's very nice. Block fuel, FinRes plus alternate 4.2 rounding up. So we need to change that. Because it's the final reserve fuels plus our alternate fuels for our diversion to Cape Town. So that is what our reserves are for there. And the cruise wind average was on the other page. It's also at the top here on the OFP. 245 at 56. Execute the changes. And also our cruise is incorrect. Look, so we need to change that to 340, like so. And for the first time today, let's go to the ATIS information. So we've got 1262. I'm going to grab a pen and we're going to get ready to scribble.
1360 at 09er. Wind variable between 340 and 060. Visibility 10 kilometers or more.
Snakes on a plane, James. That's the in-flight movie for today.
Temperature plus 21. Dew point plus 06.
So we joined the ATIS halfway through the transmission, so we'll just wait for it to reset.
Departing runway 03 left. Arriving runway 03 right.
03 left.
Expect ILS approach. Transition level 900 advise controller on initial contact. You have current ATIS information Alpha.
Alpha. So we've got that and we've got 03 left. So we need the QNH.
O R Tampa International Airport ATIS information Alpha. 1130 Zulu Special. 1360 at 09er. Wind variable between 340 and 060. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 4,500. Temperature plus 21. Dew point plus 06. Zone 024. Departing runway 03 left. Arriving runway 03 right.
It is broken, yeah, you're right.
ILS approach.
Right, so let me display the ATIS, because it is different. So FAOR, we'll punch it up using Flow Pro. That's what it should be. Oh, it's Delta now. Chuffing heck, it's changed again. I'm on a fresh notepad. I've scribbled out 2 things already. Right, winds variable at 7 knots. Cav OK 23 degrees. QNH 1023. 03 left for departures. The rest is for arrivals. So we'll not worry about the rest. Done. Keep it simple. Now we've got press the home button, performance. So on the takeoff here, we'll import from OFP, runway 03 left. We've tuned to ground and get our clearance, 1219er. So a little bit of multitasking here, because you'll also want to kind of do our performance calculations. So runway heading 35, slope 0, length and everything's been taken from Navigraph's data. Good data breeds good data, bad data breeds bad. OFP gives 66,418 kilos. If we press import from aircraft to look at the difference, 200 kilos more, which is good. That's our taxi fuel as well there. Packs will be on, anti-ice off, centre of gravity is 20. Import the weather, and we'll leave the rest on optimum to see what we get. Acceleration height 1,000 feet above ground level, flap 5, M1 at 96.05, and takeoff profile set to takeoff cell temp 42. And there's our speeds and our trim for departure as well. And we can use the displace threshold if we want to. And if we need to, so we're supposed to be able to change one of these fields, aren't we? Like the runway length for intersection departures, but apparently it's in the manual, but you can't actually do it, which is why lots of people haven't been able to do it. Apparently if you press the PMDG logo somewhere in here, something cool happens, but I'm yet to find where that logo is. Oh, it's that one. Ooh, hello. Where's my Google Lens? I'm curious. Who else is scanning this? Pumpkin Spice 737. Happy Halloween from all of us at PMDG. Here are some Halloween-themed deliveries for your PMDG 737 to get you in the mood for the holiday. There we go.
Tower Temple Ground, good afternoon. Springbok 184, request clearance to Nairobi.
Nice.
Springbok 184, Temple Ground, very good. Off and into you, step up clearance number 1.
We'll stand by, Springbok 184.
Full Tampa Ground, good afternoon. Comair 6237, stand Echo 8, 737-800 with Delta request clearance to Port Elizabeth.
Comair 6237, Tampa Ground, very good afternoon to you, stand by for clearance number 2.
So when they say stand by for clearance number 2, we don't have to reply saying Roger or anything like that. Standby just means we wait.
184, advice ready to copy.
So we've got QNH, we can set that at 1023.
Springbok 184, thank you. In correction check information, Delta, you are cleared Johannesburg to Nairobi.
Make sure we've got lights and everything set as we want.
On request after departure, runway 03 left, comply Nissan, 1 Alpha departure.
We're expecting the APDAC 1 Bravo.
Feet, contact Johannesburg radar on frequency 124.5, passing 7,600 feet, and just squawk 73086.
Lots of information
Springbok
there.
184, clear Johannesburg
So we need a
to
pen.
Nairobi, then SN1 Alpha departure, level 370, runway 03 left, initially 8,000 feet. We'll contact 124.5, passing 7,600, and the squawk is 7306 for Springbok 184.
Springbok 184, your read back was fully correct. Advise me when ready for push start.
Michael Epic, he did his
We'll go back
turbine
for
conversion at
Springbok
Port
184.
Elizabeth. It can get windy. It certainly is today.
Comair 6237, advise ready to copy.
They're ready to copy Comair 6237.
Comair 6237, you're clear Johannesburg to Port Elizabeth, flight level 34 is there on request. After departure, runway 03 left, comply UpTac 1 Bravo departure, initial climb, flight level 9 is there. Contact Johannesburg radar on frequency 124.5, passing 7,600 feet, and you'll squawk 7337.
Woo! Scribbling quick. Cleared to Port Elizabeth. Initial cruise flight level 340, runway 03 left. After departure, climb flight level 90 and contact radar 124.5, passing 7,600 feet, squawk 7337, Comair 6237.
Comair 6237, your rate back was fully correct. Advise me when ready for push and start.
Oh, okay. So, you know what I did forget on that? The APDAC departure. So, anyway, 03 left. That's a lot of information there, isn't it? So, not BXNO, one of the controllers, the radar, in fact, for today, says we've got given a new phraseology update to match a little bit more similar to real life. It could be a handful. What have we got? APDAC 1 Bravo, which is that one at the top. We'll execute that. And let's have a little look at our charts for today then. So, departures, Ortambo, SID let's get the airport briefing bit pinned as well. So APDAC 1 Bravo, pin that. And the arrival, no stars at Port Elizabeth. We're expecting RNAV 08, which is that one there. We'll also pin the ILS 08 just in case. We will also pin parking stands and airport information for that too. We don't have any suitable information for those. So, SIDS, APDAC 1 Delta, that's what we've got on the screen here. So after takeoff, we're going to be going APDAC 1 Bravo 034 degrees heading north to Juliet Sierra 029, passing 7,000 feet at or above there, and then 102 degrees to Juliet Sierra 030, passing 8,000 at or above, and then turning southeasterly 154 degrees all the way down to APDAC. There is a little one. Where is that? APDAC 1 Delta. That's not relevant to us. Good. Disregard that. 1 Bravo, climb to flight level 90, further climb under radar control.
Ortemo ground, Springbok 184, ready for push and start.
And if we zoom on in, we should have georeferenced charts. There we go. Look at that. Fantastic. So I'll pop that into full screen mode. So climb, that's done. Cruise, that's done. Descent, we will sort that out once we get airborne. All the legs have been checked. There's APDAC followed by Nevena Tuxo, so no discontinuities to think about there. Okay, so takeoff performance then. So M1 limit done. Cell temp was 46. Cell temp. 26k takeoff, and we'll go for climb profile 2. Now I've actually also got VAS airplane toolbox ready because I want to compare. The two. So FS add-ons, VAS airplane toolbox. I say I've got it ready. I did, and then I closed it before the stream started. 192. So we're just going to have a quick double check, or cross check if you like, of the data in the EFB, or the Universal Flight Tablets Performance Calculator. FAOR to FATE. .03 left, so we've got full length. Wow, 4,418 meters. Whew. Apparently QNH is 981 though, that's not correct. We've got 1024. Crikey. Alright, so that's going to be bad data anyway then, really, because of the difference in QNH. And we're at high altitude ops today as well, look. Basically, with the local QNH 1023, we're already at 5,500 feet, so crazy. But yeah, VAS Airplane Toolbox, their METAR calculations are totally broken, sadly. Thankfully, we now have the performance calculator in here, which gives us a nice QNH and everything else there as well. 1023 showing correct there. Landed dispatch calculator, because Doc keeps mentioning it. Don't want him to get too upset. 08. Packs on anti-ice weather. There you go. And we'll fiddle with the rest when we get closer. So, 42. Takeoff 2. Climb 2. Takeoff flat 5. 20% with a stab trim of 5.49. There's the V speeds, 146. 146 at 10. 156. We want to set the runway heading 034.
Runway 03 left straight ahead on Bravo to the holding point, Springbok 184.
Springbok 184, just confirm it's the cut 2 holding point.
And 9,000 there as well. Johannesburg's VOR 115.
The holding, sorry, I show Bravo holding point.
He's loud. 1152 and
Springbok
034 set the runway heading there as well.
Point, but the cut to holding point, so it's a bit.
Just as a cross-reference on the departure, flight.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah, sorry, Cat 2 holding point.
Auto brake RTO. And we need to pop the yaw damper on. We'll get the rear or aft one fuel pump switched on for this. And we'll pop the seatbelt signs on as well. Quick check of the rest of the overhead. Landing altitude needs to be 5.5 in case we turn back. And then after takeoff, when we're making our way to Port Elizabeth, we're going to have to wind it all the way back down. APU, start. What have we got here? It's a huge airport, isn't it? Look at that. This is a heavy stand as well, so ordinarily we would have other aircraft, like heavies, A380s, that kind of thing, around here. We'll just wait for that to fire up, and I'll be back in just a second. Jolly good. Right, let's get prepped for departure. So, prepare for pushback and departure. That gets the ground workers doing their thing. And with that in mind, we can also go up here to APU Gen. Connect that up. Hydraulics are on. Back in the day, Boeing 707s, they would have to underfuel the aircraft due to its density altitude in the summer. Wow.
We are ready for pushback.
Pop the APU on bleed. We put the packs on for now, but we will have to turn them off again in a moment. We are almost pushing back, bang on time. Where are we?
Departure checks completed.
Centre tanks, we've got a little bit of fuel in those, look. So, pop all those on. Watch the lights go off.
Springbok 184, you can contact Cape Town, crest Johannesburg Tower 118.1, MSFS, bye.
Tower 18.1 for Springbok 184, thanks, have a good day.
Retune that ready. Oh yes, and the squawk, 7337. And ground Comair 6237 stand Echo 9 fully ready, request push start.
Comair 6237, position start is approved facing east, QNH 1023.
Push start approved, face east, QNH 1023, Comair 6237. Nose being lifted. Facing east on Delta. Ah yes, down here, wheel chocks removed, I always forget that.
Release parking brakes.
Hello, Tambo ground, Osprey 2472 is fully ready.
We're good both sides. Part break off.
Osprey 2472, same for you, position start is approved facing south, QNH 1023. Facing south in QNH 1023, Osprey 2472.
At will.
Okay, packs off. EPU is on bleeds, and engine 2 mission mode to ground. Got the old starter switches there, or the fuel control switches. Keep an eye on the N2. Throw a load of fuel in. What have we got? There we go. That rattly noise, is that GSX making those noises? Doc's saying about make sure we're below the weight. 66.3. Yeah, we will be. Or you on about the quick turn weight? 84,189. Ignition mode continuous and then engine 1 ground. We'll pop Gen 2 online. Those textures are fantastic there. Matthew, hello, welcome. Oh, Matthew, if you want to know our in real life procedure,
Set parking brakes.
we start number 2 first, then close the isolation valve.
Unlocking gear.
Open the number 2 bleed and pack valves, then start 1. Wow. Did not know that. I'll have to fiddle around with that then. I'll send you more stuff as I sit more in that jump seat. Nice. Night Shabba, good morning to you as well. Who's in the UK, by the way, and what's your experience been of Storm Kieran? I didn't get much sleep last night. It was a bit battered where we were living currently. Off they go. That click tells me the engine starter there has gone back to off. There it is, so pop that to continuous.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
Probe heats are automatic, but I'll pop them on because sometimes it's just on or off. The pack's kicking in. Pop the APU off. We've got the left and right clear from the crew. She's there. Lap 5. Blind Panda, welcome. There's the wave with ground pin. Avia team, thanks for subscribing. Comair 6237 request taxi.
Comair 6237, taxi on input India, runway 03 left by Delta Alpha in India.
Bah. Taxi, hold on India 03 left via Delta Alpha India, Comair 6237. Delta Alpha India. Oof, that's a right old D-rate. So the thing is, pop that off. Just make sure I've done our control checks as well. Little wiggles of the old throttle. Cool, well that doesn't really give us very much there. 500 meters. It's looking at a 300 meter shift, which would give us a takeoff run available of 4,100 meters if we round it neatly. And I'm just going to use VAS Airplane Toolbox here, and I'm going to punch in the actual ATIS information properly. So the pressure 1023 and the winds are currently variable at 7 knots. 10 degrees, No, it's 23 degrees. God, that metal's totally wrong. 66 418, flops optimum, shift and calculate. Lap 5. Got a Bass plane toolbox is making a right meal of this. Takeoff run of 3,000 meters. Oof. Right, that'll do. Anyway, LNAV, VNAV, auto throttle, that's on RTO, that's all good. Flaps are set 5 and green. Annoyingly we can't change the runway length there. Ewan, hello to you? No, they haven't, buddy. If you're new to the channel, great to see you tuning in. Make sure you hit subscribe. You can then join us in the live chat, join our conversation as we fly along today as well. Don't forget, folks, give us a little thumbs up. Good to see lots of you tuning in today. And we're using the ground charts there with Navigraph to help us navigate. So out of Delta, we're going to turn right on Alpha all the way down to India. City's closed, Apple Street in Holland. Ooh, how come? Got the right lights on. Yeah, we do. Good. Pushback, yes, I've done a video on it, buddy. A full tutorial on it, in fact. So do check that out. I'll give you all the information you need to know about the Universal Flight tablet there and its features. I don't find the 7372 challenging Delta Tango, to be honest. Initially I did because of the system depth.
Alright, Tembo Ground, Osprey 2472 is ready for taxi.
But
Osprey 2472 taxi.
I actually feel like I understand it really nicely, and absolutely feel like I'm at home with this aircraft. David Van Graan, hello to you, how's it? On the route before in real life, very nice.
Alpha. Sorry, left and then turn right onto Alpha, give way to the Comair 737 on the taxiway, Osprey 2472.
Sensible choice from the bosses by the sounds of it then, Apple Stroop. We do have as well, I don't use it because I absolutely hate the heads-up displays. I just find them utterly distracting. But we've got that for today as well. We could use it. I suppose it's something I don't often do. Dougal, hello to you, says your tutorials and the support of the community are among the very best I've ever seen, and I've been around many years. I appreciate it. I hope you're feeling well. Lima's coming up. Yeah, it's a busy aircraft, Delta Tango, for simming. Absolutely. Oh, I love this little moving map feature. Really good. Is Navigraph worth the price city? So you've got two options. The answer is yes, but you've got two options. Pay monthly or pay annually. Navigraph Ultimate subscription is what you want to get all of the good stuff like the charts and the nav data and these kinds of level of integration into the PMDG charts, so on and so forth. But if you pay annually for it, it's actually a lot cheaper than paying monthly, so I recommend doing that. Matthew says, in this community we love the CRJ level of busy. Absolutely. I haven't flown that for a while either actually, but I do enjoy flying that. It's a great little jet. Oh, there's a screenshot and a half. Got to get the Osprey in the background, don't we?
Comair 6237, contact Johannesburg Tower on 118.1, have a different.
Tower 1181 for Comair 6237. Thanks for the ATC. Have a good day. Boop. Got him on a screen grab. Now we've got to get back here real quick. Got to tune to the controller frequency as well.
Comair 6237.
I was just about to change. Pass a message.
Comair 6237, seems like you missed holding point India, continue taxi cut to holding point Alpha, runway 03 left.
Ah, chopping neck. Yeah, I have. Continue Alpha 03 left, Comair 6237.
Bye.
Ah!
And Osprey 2472, continue taxi, make a left on India, contact
Too busy taking a picture.
Frequency 118.1,
continue taxi on India and contact Tower on 118.1 for Osprey 2472, insurance VATSIM, cheers. Bye.
Imagine if there was a really handy tablet that showed us where India was on the taxiway and where our little plane was. Right, anyway, let's focus. This is the Tobii eye tracker, by the way, which you can get with an additional, I think, 5% discount, I think, from memory, with Tobii eye tracker using one of my referral codes, but I can't remember what it was, which doesn't help anybody. Comair 6237, do you want me to change to tower now?
Comair 6237, firm, yeah, you can contact Altamba Tower, frequency 118.1, bye.
Thanks, 1181, sorry about that, Comair 6237, bye.
No worries.
Oh, how embarrassing. 1245 for radar. Altamba Tower, good afternoon, Comair 6237 on our, holding at Alpha 03 left, ready for departure.
Comair 6237 on Altamba Tower, hello, line over Mr. C left.
Line up 03 left, Comair 6237.
Osprey 2472, you're on frequency?
Apology, Osprey 2472 is on frequency at holding point India for runway 03 left.
You got it right. Well done, Ian.
Osprey 2472 on Teletrail, hello. 73 incredible 4 knots, runway 03 left, and India, keep takeoff.
So, intersection
Please
departure
take
ahead.
off, runway 03 left, Osprey 2472.
We don't have to follow the yellow line here because we're lining up, so what we're going to do is just come across a little bit. Cheeky. We'll pop that on. Press traffic, and we're going to line up nice and tight against the runway centre line. Set the parking brake, and then I'm just going to turn the tow VI tracker off because we want to go to the charts. Expand this to full screen. We can see our position there on the charts as we depart. Is that unlock? In chart, toggle aircraft, yeah, cool, happy days. So, Ian's off. And we are ready. Oh, there he is. So always take note of the windsock. You can see it's variable at, so was it 7 knots or something, but it's kind of at the minute a slight crosswind. So 3 knots across the runway, 3 knots down the runway as a headwind. If you were to kind of give a rough guesstimation there. Shouldn't really impact the aeroplane too much, but if as we start to make our way down the runway we find that is Ian going to rotate soon? There he is. Oh, there's his nose, and he's up, just trimming the trees at the end of the runway for me. Why are we taking off so far? Why is it such a long takeoff run? Because it's 5,500 feet above sea level, so it affects the performance of the engines significantly, which is why we're actually using toga for takeoff. What are we doing? Yeah, so as we make our way down the runway, there's the windsock again. See, it's got a little bit of a gust to it as well. What we might do is just pop the stick into wind as I maintain the centre line with a little bit of right rudder. V1 at 142, that's our decision speed. What do we got? Traffic, that's set. They're all set. 9,000, 156, 034 on the VOR as well.
Tower, do you want us by 2472 to switch over to approach, passing 7,600 still?
Yeah, once you pass 7,600, you can contact Johannesburg radar 124, this will 5.
124.5, thanks BATC, cheers, have a great day.
Yeah.
You've just issued an intersection departure, possibly, that's why, by the controllers. If you're unable to do an intersection departure, though, you can say unable, require full length, something like that. If you really wanted to have a bit of more power, you could turn the packs off.
37. After you pass 7,600, contact radar 124, decimal 5, surface wind turntable 4 knots, runway 03, let's clear takeoff.
After departure, contact radar 1245 and 03, left clear takeoff, Comair 6237.
Once you pass 7,600 feet.
Okay. So, forwards on the stick a little bit. Just release the brakes there. Thought I had them down, but not. Okay, engines look good. Toga. Power set, and we'll listen to the call-outs.
Airspeed alive.
A little bit of right rudder there, just to kind of maintain the centre line. So I'm trying to match that with equal amount of aileron.
80 knots.
And we're kind of now at the speed where we're getting rudder authority. Speed's looking good. Nice and stable. Smooth rotation coming up.
E1.
Rotate.
Rotate.
Airplane's nose is kind of positioning into wind a little bit. Gear up for the positive rate call. And we can get rid of that. There we are. blasting off out of Johannesburg. So, CMDA engaged with LNAV, VNAV, auto thrust. And we'll keep an eye on the jet. Landing gear, lever to the off position, auto brake off, runway turn off lights off. Everything else stays the same, icing as required. 7,600 feet is coming up. So we're now going to change 1245. Through flaps 1. So I'll get rid of those two. Johannesburg radar, good afternoon, Comair 6237 is passing 7,700 feet, Abdak 1 Bravo.
Comair 6237 radar, hello, good afternoon, identified radar control, climb to level 120, proceed back to Nevin.
Radar control, continue climb, fly level 120, direct Nevin, Comair 6237. Nevin, select, execute, LNAV 120, standard pressure through our transition altitude, QNH 1013, and flaps up. Yeah, it's about 10,000 feet Delta Tango.
Contact South Africa 128
On the ground, you can't really have.
128325, Osprey 2472.
You'll find crew in and out
Great day, cheers.
a little bit as well, but most of taxiing is sterile as well, to be fair. Pilots will be communicating in relation to their departure and in relation to the way that they are navigating on the ground.
37, continue now, fly level 150.
T-Climb level 150, comment 6237. Big old direct 2, flaps no lights. 10,000 feet, we're not 10,000 feet above ground level yet. But we can have a little look to see if the aircraft is pressurising. It's starting to. We'll just keep an eye on that. So think of the next frequency as well now, 128325, 128325, 128, 325, huge direct 2, look, there's our little planes. Instead of going zip zip all the way to Abdak, now we're being cut south straight away. Days. And you know what? I will just turn the landing lights and everything off now. And the seatbelt signs can come off. The ignition modes as well can come off. If engine starts. Mode selectors. And there we are. Just waiting for the next climb up as well.
Comair 6337, contact South Africa 1 radius 1325, have a safe flight and no crashing, bye bye.
I'll try my best. Contact South Africa 128 325, comment 6237. Thanks to ATC, have a good day. Let's bring up range ring up, see where we're going. Huge direct 2. Just sort out the heading bug there as well. South Africa, good afternoon, comment 6237s through flight level 135, 150, direct Nevin.
Comair 6237, South Africa control identified. Continue climb now, flight level 320 for now.
G'day, contact, continue climb flight level 320, comment 6237. 320. My favourite wing view. So Port Elizabeth, in about an hour, we've got some crazy winds, but we've also got a runway that's only 1,980 metres long. Usable landing length though is nearer to about 1,750 metres, so it's a similar length to that of Skiathos, which makes it quite challenging. It's also a downhill slope because on runway 08 the threshold has an elevation of 229 feet, and the threshold for runway 26 on the opposite end has got an elevation of 189 feet, so there's a difference of, I don't know, call it 40 feet or so roughly, going downhill, which makes it a little bit harder for us to manage decelerating the aircraft. It also changes the way that our depth perception in real life works. A runway, for example, that's going downhill looks longer than it is, whereas a runway that's going uphill has the appearance of it being shorter. But it also tricks the eye a little bit because, in effect, if you're landing downhill, we're actually going to think that we are potentially too high on the profile, but I'm trying to make sure I get this the right way round. The real pilots tell me if I'm wrong, but effectively going downhill, it's going to look as if we're too high. Too low. So we will be wanting to fly in a little bit higher than actually we should. So we can very quickly be too high. Similarly, the other way around, a runway going uphill, if for example we were landing on 26 here at Port Elizabeth instead, it would look like we're too high, so we would start to make effort to reduce our altitude, and we would actually be too low on the approach because of it. So it's a bit of a trick of the eye. Robert, hello to you. Yeah, departed out of OR Tambo, and we're in towards Port Elizabeth. 20,000 feet in the climb. Quick check of the fuel. Centre tank's almost empty now, look. So we're expecting a fuel master caution shortly for that. Let's go FMC, legs, and while we're here on this screen, let's just come up on the ATIS and we'll pop in FAPE, have a look what the ATIS says here. Bingo. So, information Bravo. Just make a note of this on my notepad. Bravo at 1300Z, 08 winds, oh my god, 090 degrees at 21 knots, gusting 33, cab OK, 21 degrees 16 for the dew point, and QNH 1015, and expect RNAV approach, transition altitude 5,500 feet, so TL 55. Rightio, so because we're going to be almost at ALCAT pretty quick actually, we can think about our arrival. So we're going to go departures, arrivals, FAPE, RNAV 08, and we want the transition of UTSIR in this instance today. No stars at Port Elizabeth, and then we just commit to that. So from ALCAT there is a route discontinuity because if we look at the charts, I wonder if it will show it on here. I think it's on this one, isn't it? Block transition. The magenta line here is our flight plan path. There's ALCAT. The approach is actually over here, so we've got to head down past those airports that say FAPZ, out over the coast before then routing in for the approach. Now to make that a little bit easier to spot, let's just go to that one. We'll be routing in from the north directly to UTSIR, and with that in mind, what we'll do is we'll select UTSIR, go back a page, and we'll get rid of that discontinuity to connect them all up in this instance. We now need to look at the descent page, head to forecasts, pop in our transition level of 5.5, and we can do a descent winds request using the SimBrief import from the Universal Flight Tablet. What's the background on the livery, Aiden's asking? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. I think Comair just basically licensed the BA livery from British Airways, paid them vast amounts of money every month for them to be able to use the livery. But I don't know what the history behind it was and why that's why that's the case. There we go. David's saying there, downhill makes the runway look too low. As I was trying to explain that. Actually, that's a much simpler way of saying it, isn't it? Because we're landing downhill on 08, on the downhill slope, it makes us look like we're too low, so we correct that approach potentially to get back to a position where our own eyes think that we are nice and level and on the correct profile, but actually we end up overshooting because we're too high on approach. Conversely, the other way around, landing on 26, it would be the other way. So it would make the runway look too high. We would then correct for that in manual flight, bring ourselves back in what we think is the profile. We're using our eyeballs, but again, it's a trick of the eye, so we end up undershooting the runway. Both are dangerous. Zulu Sierra Zulu Whiskey Hotel, Aiden, that's the reg on this. David says, to be honest, in his experience with Port Elizabeth, he's never really experienced that illusion before. It's only a 50 foot or so, 40 foot elevation, isn't it? It's more prominent in the bigger airports. Skiathos has got a particularly big uphill, hasn't it, I think, from memory. But it's more to kind of just explain the point. So one of the considerations you have to think of. And we're flying into an airport I've never flown into before as well, so it's making yourself aware of the fact that there could be that trick of the eye, and because of that you need to take steps to prevent it. Where is it? Airport. Wait, so there's the runway, tiny thing. 08086 for the runway heading, and there's the elevation 229 feet at the threshold end. The opposite end of the runway elevation is only 189, so it's a downhill slope. We're probably going to use the full length, and actually we're probably going to come off the end at Alpha as well, and then taxi back towards the apron there. You always have to brief it in real life. That's good to know, I didn't know that. South African Air Force apron at the very far end too. There it is. Usable landing lengths. So landing beyond the glide slopes, only 1,628 metres of usable runway, look. So that's tough. .1015, VATS airplane toolbox is totally out. 090. .21 gusting 33. Temperatures 21. Both reversers, anti-ice off. Flaps 30 it says, auto brake max. Or flaps 40. We'll use flap 40 because it is a short runway. What would the real pilots do, David, in real life actually, in relation to the Comair 737? Would they use flap 40 in this instance or flap 30? Top of climbing 20, but that's only at 320, so we've got another 2,000 to go before cruise, unless we get it changed by the controller. And the QNH as well in here was 1015, wasn't it? So let's have a quick peek at that, get that set up nicely. And then the approach ref, we're expecting estimated
184, no further ATC, switch to Unicom.
6216.
Unicom, Springbok 184, thanks a lot, have a good day.
62.2. So we've got 30 or 40 for flaps, but because of the crazy winds, what was that METAR? Let's bring it up. In fact, let's use the live chat commands for METAR, and we'll pop it in the live chat. I think that was it, isn't it? Exclamation mark fate. It's warning us there because we're not at cruise. There's the winds, look. 090 at 21 knots, gusting 33. So, there's a difference of about 12 knots between the mean wind and then the gusts. So as Doc has rightly pointed out in the live chat as well, we have to actually change our wind correction. So +5 isn't safe. So we're going to change that to +10 instead. So if we were using flap 30, our VREF, or our approach speed, sorry, would be 155 knots. Flaps 40, it would be 143 knots. And I think, as David is saying, I think with these winds in the 737 they tend to prefer flap 30, I think. So what we'll do is we'll select that and we'll see how we go. And if it isn't right, then what we'll do is we'll do a touch and go and try again if we end up buggering it up. As Doc said earlier on, there's a 1 in 2 chance of a go around with the winds, I suppose. I love his faith in me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Airport elevation of 229, let's get that in the box. So we have to round that to the nearest, 250. Well, Muster, you don't want butter. It's this weird flight sim obsession. But you don't want to have a buttery touchdown, because certainly in an aeroplane like the 737 you want the sensors around the main wheels to go, ah, we've touched down, there's a lot of weight on wheels, bang, deploy the speed brake, and all that sort of thing. If you touch down too smoothly, then things won't deploy properly. So in that sense you can end up touching down so smooth that the speed brake doesn't deploy properly, or is delayed in the deployment of. So you've got to be careful there. But yeah, we're going to use flap 30, which gives us a VREF of 145 with our estimated landing weights from our OFP, and that's going to add 10, 155 for approach. Also, David again makes a really good point here, because it's such a short runway, just like Skiathos, we've got to make sure that we plant it. So we're not going for smooth at all, we're going for accuracy.
Comair 6237, expect flight level 320 as your final. Have traffic ascended out of 320 for 340. Osprey 2476 for flight level 340 as its final.
Yeah, we'll go with flight level 320 for cruise is fine, Comair 6237.
Thank you.
Fuel at fate 5.3, so still within our FinRes plus alternate. Yeah, got to be good. Bristol's another great great shout there actually, Dougal, to be fair. How can I... Charts... Yeah, let me get the charts up on the normal screen. And I'm going to go to satellite view. Here we go. And I'm going to tell you roughly where I'm going to want to touch down. So there's the runway. It's coloured it over in a black or a grey mark, annoyingly, so I can't really visualise it. But those lines there are probably the pappies. Those, you know, the 2 red, 2 white lights for the approach. That's probably where the pappy indicators are. Now, we want to touch down between Alpha 2 and those pappies, really, because by the time we actually get the main wheels down and we then start to decelerate the aeroplane, we're going to be about here where it says R08 and these 2 little like dots on the satellite imagery. We're going to be about here, and already that's almost half of the runway used. So max auto brake, full reverse, brakes, 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 and then we'll probably end up coming to a nice slow roll right towards the end of the runway, and then we'll vacate Alpha 4 left on Echo, and then contact ground if there is ground for taxi to the apron. If we are too busy chasing butter, which is this weird phenomenon that nobody does in real life, and when you speak to real pilots, nobody ever kind of chases that. Well, if you try that here, then what you'll find is you'll overshoot, you'll float too long, and you'll actually run out of runway and overshoot off the end of it anyway. So big no for that, certainly in these kind of environments. Just pop some screenshots onto Volanta. Delta Tango says he loves all of the local knowledge and in real life flying experience in this community. It's great, isn't it? There's so much of it, so much variety, so much diversity, and lots of information being shared with everybody as well, which makes all of our experiences that little bit nicer. Now we've got to also think about brakes. Brakes are going to get hot. So RNAV GNSS runway 08. Ooh, hello. What happened there? That's what we want. So this is what we're planning for. The decision altitudes down here, LNAV and VNAV 730. So we'll pop that in to the decision height. Or Barrow 730. Yeah, G-force is more important than your foot per minute touchdown. If it's around 1.1 to 1.3, then that's pretty good. It's 30. But how you should assess your landings really is how accurate is it within the touchdown zone, and how accurate is it within the centre line, on your positioning on the centre line basically. That is the sign of a good landing. Butter is actually a really terrible landing. So 730, inbound course of 086. Have they got any VORs here? They do. So I'm going to have a little look at the VORs. We'll tune one of those in, 1129er. And it's got an inbound course of 091. So I'm going to pop that in up here as well as a backup. There's a Cat 2 ILS as well, but we won't be doing that. There is a circle to land here as well, that's pretty cool. Missed approach for this. Climb to 3,000 feet, route direct Papa Echo 1 Mike 1. We'll call it Pyme. Then turn right to Pyme 2. Pyme 2. Then turn right to Nera and to holding as directed. Max 230 knots, do not turn before the missed approach point. So, you can see it displayed there. We'll basically maintain runway heading, overfly the runway, climbing up to 3,000 feet as we go, tidying the aircraft up, so it will be gear up, flaps 50, will be positive rate first, gear up flap 15, accelerating away, climbing away to 3,000, up to Papa Echo 1 Mike 1 up here, over the coast, then turning south to Mike 2, then 271 degrees all the way to Nera, which is over the water here, 3,000 feet. Max 230 knots to join the hold there. We'll be back on LNAV, VNAV for that, and we'll wait then for the ATC to kind of clear us back in again for another attempt. Glide path angle for this is a little bit steeper than usual as well, it's 3.2 degrees. If we go to the performance tool and we go to landing en route, 08, elevation 203, runway heading 087 there. It's got a slope of 0 because it's quite small in reality to what is only about 40 foot difference. So it's not really a slope that would trick you massively, but it's something to consider. And the runway length in feet, 7,100. Estimated landing weight, we'll probably go for 60. Dropping it. Go for 63, and I'll estimate that huge shortcut saved us a ton of fuel. Landing flap 30, packs on, anti-ice off, VREF add 10. We don't have any non-normal conditions to consider, and we're also going to go for max auto brake, reverses no credit, we'll actually go for all operational, import weather, calculate. So that reckons required landing distance is 4025. Let me change the figures here. Length unit in meters, altitude in feet, distance nautical miles. That's what we want. Save preferences. I can't do kilograms. I can't do feet. Let's reset everything now, isn't it? Chuffy neck. Oh well. All operation. Let's try order break 3 to see what it gives us. Packs on. VREF add 10. Anti-ice off. So look at the difference there, look. Oh, landing flaps, 30. Required landing distance 1736. Now we know it says available landing distance 2164 meters, but that's not correct, is it? Because let's bring up the charts on another screen again.
Springbok 7 Charlie Mike.
1980, that's great, but we land beyond the glide slope. We've only got 1,628 meters of usable runway length.
Runway 24, fly runway heading.
Which means
vectors to Octan.
That's an overrun.
Climb and maintain.
So max auto rate, recalculate, 1226. That gives us 200 meters or so, roughly, of leeway to get the aeroplane down before we're decelerating. So it's going to be tough. You have to look at the numbers that it gives you and actually consider the reality of it based on what you're flying into.
Push and start is at your discretion. Call for taxi. Expect runway 24.
Matthew F, welcome.
Information. Charlie.
Aaron says, do we Osprey Airways have preferred gates at Brussels? No, pick whichever ones you want. But yeah, we tend to get usually the random gates. So kind of just pick wherever you want, really. Yeah, the Dreamliner's brakes after takeoff a lot of the time. In effect, you'll see, certainly at Heathrow, you'll see Dreamliners take off sometimes with the landing gear still extended, flying over the Burnham NDB. And that's a couple of miles after takeoff. And that's because the brakes are too hot and they're letting the airflow whiz through past all the brakes to cool it all down. Ah, David, interesting. So fairly sure that all of the VOR and ILS approaches at Port Elizabeth are suspended in real life still. Doc says it's a fatal mistake of the calculator because the runway is longer than in real life. Absolutely. So you have to double check the figures. Performance calculator gives you a figure, but if the data is wrong, the output data that you get back from it will also be incorrect. So you have to then compare against the charts and see what the crack is. Oh, I can't see what the ETA is for you, UD, on the screen. That's for your screens only. 15:14. We're apparently touching down in an hour. Let's get a Mach 80. One SIDS at Cape Town as well are being suspended. Wow, how come, folks? Or is it just down to costs of maintenance? A lot of modern aircraft now are all capable to do RNAVs, aren't they? So are they just looking at that saying, you know what? We'll just go to an RNAV approach. Oh, R&P as well got suspended. Crikey. That's not good. Slight little imbalance there in the fuel, but it's within the maximum limit of 700 kilograms for this, so we don't need to worry about rebalancing the fuel when there's 30 kilos of difference. That's not going to worry the aircraft. That's a small child in weight. Somebody saying earlier on as well in the live chat, sorry if I did miss it, didn't I?
Safari 121, yeah, you're on.
They said in the live chat that the Universal Flight Tablet update to fix a couple of bits is in beta already, so hopefully maybe in a couple of weeks or next week we'll be enjoying another update to the PMDG Universal Flight Tablet to fix maybe that crash to desktop thing that a lot of people have been reporting with the Google Maps side of the tablet and all that sort of stuff. Still not convinced that was what we had, but...
Roger. Comair 6237, same number?
Mach decimal 80, Comair 6237.
Mach 79er for now.
Okay. Ah, busted! David says, I haven't checked in a while, but on Fly Africa people were saying it was due to ongoing CAA audits. I know for Port Elizabeth, since they were suspended as they built a cell tower on the approach path. Oops. Oh no, Ian, it's absolutely fine. It's nice to be breathing down your neck today and not have someone breathing down mine. Takes a bit of pressure away as well. Big old headwind and crosswind rab, yeah, absolutely. Is this all down to like the 5G stuff as well, David? Is it all of that? Because I know 5G has been causing chaos in the States with some approaches. It's on NOTAMs for a lot of airports, I think including Heathrow now as well. Not BNXO saying also ILS 01 was given Cat 3 status, and then it did the great... Oof, it's back to Cat 1. Ah. UD, yes, this is VATSIM. So this is other people connecting to a network trying to replicate the real world. So we've got people as air traffic controllers and they've got radar scopes connecting into this big network together. And they're controlling us like real life. And then we've got other people like Ian up ahead, so you can see his control there, flying along as other pilots replicating real procedures in their aircraft as pilots. Let's have a look at Valanta. So there's South Africa.
Yeah, it's gonna be 24. The winds now are 220
couple of people
degrees.
busy around the area here. The stars there indicates third-party scenery that we've got installed. Although Joburg, oh no, there it is. There's the star, lovely. Peter's just departed. So we're there. Ian's just ahead. Let's have a little look to see what screenshots he's put in. Flying our Channels Osprey Airways represent. Very nice. By the way, those of you flying for Osprey, we are looking to have... That's a great screenshot. Look at the terminal building. We're looking to have a splash screen for our Osprey Airways 737 fleet input into our Osprey Airways PMDG 737 liveries. So when you turn the tablet on, instead of it being this, what we'll have is the Osprey Airways logo instead, and perhaps like one of my nice screenshots that I've taken in the past as an image. And I've also asked for a different tile to be replaced as well, so that I think it's a YouTube link, but basically you click that and it's the British Avgeek logo instead. Drakensberg on the left, Michael says. It's very rocky and mountainous, isn't it? Tar Stuff, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing. Ashton Anders, good afternoon, buddy. Hope you're well. Kjord saying, how do you make a virtual airline? With a lot of time and effort and energy put into it, you have to kind of build the community as well, which goes hand in hand with the channel, of course, because we've got a big community with the channel, and with that I then decided to run a virtual airline as well. 4 RMP suspended, 2 SIDs suspended at Cape Town, broken ILS, a star that is no longer existing, and ILS downgrades. That's Cape Town alone. My goodness, that's crazy. Yeah, the Kingdom of Lesotho, this tiny little landlocked country within the confines of South Africa, and it's a Commonwealth nation as well. You've also got Eswatini up here as well, and Babni, and both of those are included in the Commonwealth worldwide tour on Osprey Airways Far New Sky. So basically it's a tour that takes you all the way around the world to every single Commonwealth country, a couple of hops in between to help split the legs up as well where we can, and yeah, those two are included. Quite a few hops around Africa, to be fair, because it's an area of the world in Microsoft Flight Simulator that's not really explored enough by folks. One thing that was really nice was, you know, across the pond this year, as sad as I was to not be able to get the slot that I could do, it was really nice to see South Africa and a few other nations as well. I think Ghana, and I'm trying to think now, there's 2 or 3 nations, wasn't there, in the African continent that were all part of Across the Pond eastbound this year, which is really cool. Andrew says, are there going to be any new Osprey Airways livery designs for the near future? Not... Well, there is one, and I've been trying to get it organised for a long time. I might reach out to Demo Designs and ask, because I think Tapsy's been struggling with the theme of it, basically. But it is, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but if it's pulled off and executed correctly, it is going to blow us all away with a very cool, unique design. So we're looking at that, but I'm not sure how we're going to pull it off yet, without ruining the surprise for you folks. It's also a matter of choosing the correct aircraft to put it onto as well. Absolutely, Delta Tango. Yeah, if the country isn't putting enough money into kind of keeping all of these things working, and it's causing issues then for aviation in real life, it would cause problems therefore for tourism. I'd love to go to South Africa. I've just never been. Don't know where to start with it. Those mountains there are just incredible. Look at that. The detail on it. B2 plus 10 saying he'd start in Cape Town. I quite like the idea of doing like a wine tour or something like that, but the prices of some of these holidays are just ridiculous. Very true, not all African countries within the region have got Bing data, as Doc's saying there, so we've got really nice Bing photogrammetry below us and nice nice rich detail, but go to some of the more remote places in Africa and you don't really get much Bing photogrammetry, sadly, so it ends up looking a little bit washed out. And look at the clarity of that. We're at the halfway point already. Amazing. Thomas, welcome. Dzień dobry. How are you doing? Botswana's great as well, Michael says. Delta Tango, explain to us what load shedding is then, without us having to Google it. I'm interested now as well. By the way, I this morning ordered
Springbok
myself a
7
dash
Charlie
cam
Mike.
motorbike.
The winds are
A new
completely
Inov
switch
K6.
around when you're on
It
the
looks
ground
amazing.
there. Yeah,
But
the winds are
that's going to be
showing,
coming, I think, tomorrow.
see here.
And I'll be mounting that on over the next couple of
040
days.
degrees,
Oh,
7
electricity load shedding, David.
Tailwind
Gotcha.
component
I know what you
7
mean, yeah.
knots. So you're going to switch around to
Power distribution across the
the
grid
runway 0
with managed power cuts.
taxi instructions.
That's insane.
And Springbok 7 Charlie Mike is still fine. You can also take on way 247
You can work with
Not good for
the
flight sim,
7
is
knot
it?
tailwind component.
Halfway through a flight, and boom.
Roger, taxi, holding
For 2
point
hours.
Mike runway 24 via Foxtrot and Alpha.
Aidan, absolutely, yeah. If you guys want to fly around South Africa, we have a scenic South Africa tour in New Sky for Osprey Airways, and basically it takes you crisscrossing around South Africa, Cape Town to Johannesburg to Port Elizabeth to I think Durban as well. I mean, in fact, if I go and find it, my airlines rewards. Scenic South Africa. So you depart Cape Town for George Airport, FAGG, down the south coast heading east, and then you go from there to Port Elizabeth, again a very short leg, 161 nautical miles. From Port Elizabeth you head up to Lima Echo King Shaka International Valley, 400 nautical miles for that third leg before you then head northwest to Ortambo, Johannesburg, and then you go Johannesburg back to Cape Town. So it's a big circuit of South Africa, basically, the main airports in the nation. When's your motorcycle training? Thomas was saying. So yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yes. So, no, 2 days ago. The 31st. 2 days ago. And it was really good. I was supposed to be on a 125 to kind of start off as a road skills day. So you build upon your CBT on a 125, which is horrible to ride, and then you zoom about for a couple of hours, about 4 or 5 hours, learning road skills and kind of getting ready to step up into a 600cc motorbike for your direct access, the main bike training. But they were like, you know what, you'll be fine. We'll be straight on a Trident 660, which is really nice. And we just went straight out. Straight into it. Lots of different types of riding, lots of slow speed stuff, and to 20 mile an hours, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, national 60s, and dual carriageway 70s. Really enjoyed it. Did a little bit of slalom as well to practice, because they basically brought my course forward by one session. Because I've got quite comfortable with it very quickly. Certainly on that Triumph Trident, such a great motorcycle that I've basically got confident with it very quickly because of how good the motorbike is. So next week I've got my Mod 1. Those of you who are our channel members in green, in the live, in the Discord lounge yesterday, the members area within our Discord server, I put a video on there for the Mod 1, so you can see what we have to do on the Mod 1 test. Lots of like slaloms, an emergency swerve for avoidance maneuver, emergency brakes, emergency stops, slow rides, slaloms, and U-turns. Quite tough.
surface winds 040 degrees, 7 knots, tailwind component 7.
I couldn't believe how much easier it was to ride as well in comparison to a 125, and I don't understand why people just stick on a 125. I don't get it. It's incredible. The difference is so huge. I had it in my head before I sat on the bike. Oh my god, it's a 660. It's going to be heavy. Like my motorbike is that's in the garage. I've got a Triumph Tiger 900 GT, so it's a big heavy bike with a massive presence. So I thought, oh, I don't know how well I'm going to get into this. The second I got on it and just brought the clutch out in first and started rolling. So stable, so smooth compared to the 125. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, cost, I suppose, the commentator, that is a big thing, isn't it? But I think they should... They're looking at changing the CVT anyway, because it's just not fit for purpose. It's not very safe in reality.
2472 South Africa Control.
But I think if they changed the price of the CVT to about 250 quid...
Roger, you can plan
or
for
200
the
quid.
R that's going to
Instead
be
of being so cheap, then it might mean that you end up attracting bikers that actually want to begin to continue the training and enhance their skills more.
So, plan for the RNAV 08 with the UTSA transition for
no, this is just default Bing and default MSFS photogrammetry stuff, Taser. Hello to you. Udi's asking what a dual carriageway is. It's basically like a motorway.
Comair 6237 South Africa Control.
Pass message, Comair 6237.
Alright, plan for the RNAV runway 08 at Port Elizabeth via the UTSA transition.
RNAV 08 Port Elizabeth, UTSA transition for Comair 6237.
Read back correct. Enable reduce your Mach number to 78 for spacing.
Okay, we'll drop back now. Max 78, Comair 6237. So, minimums, ref for the Barrow, and we also will use the command in the live chat once again to get our METAR for Port Elizabeth. We want to set our QNH.
Osprey 2472, confirm your estimate for your start descent. Stand by, Osprey 2472.
We'll put a fixed ring in as well. So
I expected top of the descent at 1448 Zulu for Osprey 2472.
what do we got here? Should be runway 08, and we've got 5 miles.
Runway 240, airborne passing 2000.
And 10. We'll call it 10. It's 11 actually, isn't it? So I'll do runway 08.
Springbok 37 Charlie.
5.
7 Charlie Mike. Identified.
And I'll do 10.
Now.
Just to make it even.
Continue climb,
So we'll have a couple of fixed rings in here at the airport. Make sure our track is aligned as well with that. We're kind of ready now. So we've got auto brake set to max. The landing pressure panel is set to 250. What we're passing now, Zabdo. We've got 6 tons of fuel on board.
Osprey 2472, enable proceed direct to Papa Echo Victor 0.
Warning me call, right to top of descent. We're doing this a little early just to see you guys, we'll show you guys what we're doing with it all. Just a veteran, nice.
Confirm.
That's very exciting.
Papa Echo Victor 0. Papa Echo Victor 0 for Osprey 2472.
Yeah, we can use the UFT as well. There it is. And the diversion to Cape Town, a lot nicer for the winds, look 220 at 6, but variable 190 to 250 there. But that's the weather in Port Elizabeth. 6237. 6237. That's, I'll try and remember that easier using that on the yoke there. Memory of a sieve today. Mayhem, very good, thank you. I hope you're well. Delta Tango, enjoy your commute. No worries at all. I'll try my best.
Control, Osprey 2472. Can you just confirm that was Papa Echo Victor 0 for Osprey 2472?
Oh, that's a Papa Echo Victor VOR. That's the Port Elizabeth VOR station.
My apologies. Papa Echo Victor VOR, Osprey 2472.
I read back correct. Run ready at pilot's discretion, descend flight level 140. Report leaving the flight level 340.
At pilot discretion, descend flight level 140, and we'll report when starting our descent from level 340, Osprey 2472.
So that's Ian up there, got his clearance to descend. Imagine if you're both on the same course together and you just stumbled across each other in our live chat today. That would be epic. Michael says as an expat of South Africa, he'd encourage anybody going to visit.
2474.
Never live there again though.
When you're ready, amend your descent to a flight
We always
level
hear crime is a real big issue in South
discretion,
Africa.
descend flight level
In the
160.
UK.
160,
It's always hard to assess
2472.
how true that is. Because we've never been here, so it's hard to tell, isn't it? You just go by the reports that you're given.
Comair 6237 South Africa Control, confirm your estimate for start of descent.
Our top of descent, approximately 1451 Zulu, Comair 6237. So, 8 minutes.
Roger. At your present position now, proceed direct to Papa Echo Victor, that's the Port Elizabeth VOR station.
Bucko, direct Papa Echo Victor for Comair 6237. So this is a different one, it's not in our flight plan. So what we'll do is we go Papa Echo Victor, click, execute. And now we have to do a little bit of mopping up here because it's a little bit of a mess. So I'm going to, where's our little routing here? Let's Alcat. So I'm going to select Alcat and I'm going to pop that in there with a discontinuity, just so we can see where our transition towards Utsir would be, our final waypoint before we head towards Utsir. As we get near that, what I'll do is I'll wipe that as well. We'll just do a little bit of cleaning up. What it has done though is it's confused our fuel a little bit, so it thinks we're below reserves, but it's fine. So Papa Echo Victor, VOR with a direct 2. And that's how you change that on the fly. Bit of mountain dodging, eh? Nice. Crime, corruption, poverty and unemployment is tearing that beautiful country apart. Not good. V2+10 missing the British Airways Comair paint scheme, flying around SA. Does anyone know the brief history of it all? Aidan says, have you got any other apps installed on the EFB? No, I haven't. Flight radar, flightsim.to. Apparently there are a few already available.
Qatari cargo 44 heavy clear to Mauritius, flight level 350 after departure, runway 06.
I wouldn't even know how to locate.
Comply with the ICMEL 1 Charlie. Climb flight level 350 squawk 7323. Repeat your transponder only, don't need to repeat the clearance, squawk 7323.
Are there any?
Push and start is at your discretion, call for taxi, expect runway 06. It is Delta.
Nairobi Nights, is that a VATSIM event, Swankier? Very nice. Oof. You know what we haven't done actually? Utsir. I'm going to just do that, mop it up properly. Because our top of descent marker, we're missing it. So there we go, let's do that, clean it all up. Top of descent in about 20 miles. Less than 20 miles in fact. So we just make sure we got all of our data set correctly. We do.
American Osprey 2472 is beginning our descent down to flight level 160.
All the brake. Heart brakes off.
Osprey 2472 South Africa control, roger.
Ah, there we go. V2+10 saying, if he remembers correctly, Comair was a venture between a local and South African company, Kalula, and a British Airways that allowed BA to operate locally within South Africa, but the majority of the new company, Comair, was owned by South African company, Kalula. Interesting. So you can see our diversion a little bit there. We're still flying along our magenta line though, so we're still almost along the routing that we would have otherwise taken, which is ever so slightly to the left hand side of that if we're looking the other way. And we're just going straight towards Papa Echo Victor now, which is what that line's demarking anyway pretty much, because it's showing us direct to the airport. There you go, so if you guys want a VATSIM event for you to fly around in tonight, somewhere different, head to Nairobi on VATSIM for Nairobi Nights. Badger, good luck. Let us know if you vacate safely or if you end up overrunning. Yong Yong, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing, buddy. Final reminder for you folks of the ATIS at Port Elizabeth before our arrival. So information Charlie, runway in use 08. Winds currently now 080 at 21 knots. The gusts have gone on the METAR report. Temperature in the QNH the same. Temperature's dropped, oh no, it is the same actually, but the dew point's dropped by 1 degree, so it's a slightly bigger spread. Transition altitude is 5.5. Aiden, yeah, just the one leg today. Comair 6237, request descent. Reset MCP altitude.
Comair 6237, when ready, descend, flight level 170.
When ready, descend flight level 170, Comair 6237. So we'll be stepped down by the controller. Descend when ready, so it's not an immediate get the nose down kind of thing. We can leave it on VNAV, let the aeroplane reach top of descent, and then just start its own descent on VNAV path, which is what it's doing now. You can, if you want as well, pull up about another minute or so before I did, and go into vertical speed mode beforehand, or even go into the descent page and click descend now. That's another option for you. And what you'll then get is a smoother descent initially until it intercepts that VNAV path more properly. It goes back onto the profile it wants, and then it will pitch down a little bit more to maintain that.
Comair 6237, speed 270 knots and conversion.
270 on conversion, Comair 6237. Make a note of that. 270. So I always fly on VATSIM with a pen and paper, just in case. In the 737, because the PMDG 737 is so good, and we've got service-based failures and stuff on, so we have to maintain the aircraft. I always fly with a quick reference handbook as well,
speed 2,
and a checklist just in case I kind of want to refer to a checklist
conversion.
for any reason.
285 in conversion, Osprey 2472.
So the conversion will happen around flight level 280, or as Doc is saying, in the descent page, we can change our target speeds here as well. I'll just select 270. In fact, if we come off that, it's already selecting that anyway, look. There it is. And it's warning us of drag required because we're a lot faster, look, and we're on profile. The aeroplane doesn't want to pitch up, so we just get the speed brake and we'll drop it towards flight detent. There we go, it's in the clicker. I'm trying to find that. We'll only need to have this for a little while.
Osprey 2472, contact approach, that's Port Elizabeth approach on frequency 120.4.
So that's our next frequency.
Contact Port Elizabeth approach on 120.4 for Osprey 2472. Thanks for the ATC, really appreciate it. Cheers.
See you next time.
104. So we'll be handed off imminently as well. Bring that in a bit. Make sure the courses are aligned there, 091, otherwise we end up with that big old cross mark thing, which is a bit confusing. Nice, David. Good luck with that. He's going back to ZA in a couple of months to revalidate. He's got a job doing parachute dropping to get some hours to get over the 250 hour threshold. Nice. Bit of work for you though, I'm sure. So I think what we can probably expect is nearer to these little decel points here, before reaching the VOR, we can probably expect vectors. So we'll be heading off downwind towards Utsir, continuing the descent down to 5,000 bar ATC's instructions, and then we'll be routing round towards that Arnav approach. BT plus 10, thank you buddy, no worries, have a good day. As we start the descent, the aeroplane should begin to depressurise. So we just have a little check of the pressurisation panels here to make sure it is depressurising normally. It gives us another opportunity just to double check the figures in that landing altitude box too. And there's the coast. Never been to this part of South Africa before.
44 heavy taxi holding point Charlie runway.
Quite scenic, isn't it?
Via taxiway November and Alpha.
Or never, Aiden. I don't have the time, sadly. We've already had a load of people complete that though, which is really impressive. It shows you how far the sim has come on though, because I think we've had about 4 pilots complete it so far. One person on both sectors.
Correction, Comair 6237, continue descent now, flight level 160.
Continue descent, flight level 160, Comair 6237. Good work, Badger. Aiden, was that with the scheduled service? Or was it in free flight? It's still a mega profit, isn't it?
Macado 627, correction, 6237, contact Port Elizabeth approach. That's Port Elizabeth approach 120.4. Safe landing, Mr. British Beat. See you next time.
Contact Port Elizabeth approach 120.4. Thanks for the ATC, really appreciate it. Have a good day. See you next time.
See you next time.
Port Elizabeth approach, good afternoon, Comair 6237, Boeing 737 with Charlie descending through flight level 190 for flight level 160 direct Papa Echo Victor.
Comair 6237, Port Elizabeth approach, hello, landing runway 08, descent flight level 100 and speed 260 knots.
Landing at 08, descend flight level 100 and speed 260 knots, Comair 6237. Let's go to vertical speed mode.
And Comair 6237, do you want to continue with the RNAV or do you want to plan for the ILS?
RNAV is fine, Comair 6237.
Comair 6237, roger.
So aiming for about a nice smooth continued descent here. Use speed brake back in flight to 10. Long to go now. It's been a busy sector, but it's been really good. Again, I've said it a few times, but a massive thank you to the VATSIM Sub-Sahara Africa division. Folks jumping online to give us some really good ATC for our arrival here into Port Elizabeth today.
Free speed and that 5,000.
It makes all the difference when we're flying on the network, so it's massively appreciated having some great ATC controllers as well. Aiden, we've already done landing performance, buddy. That was prior to top of descent. Max reverse auto brake max, flap 30. Plus 10 for the correction for the wind because of gusts and strong winds. So we changed from VREF plus 5 to VREF plus 10.
And Osprey 2472, proceed with Osprey 30.
Direct with Osprey 2472.
What did you have? Was it nice?
Comair 6237, free speed.
Free speeds, Comair 6237. Yeah, we'll leave it on 260. Or, to be fair, I can see Ian there. Right there, tiny little blip in the distance. I remember City. We'll leave it on 260. The heaters and halloumi, nice. Swanky. Croc Madame is the only answer, Chloe says.
Africa 1 Tango Lima, ready for departure.
The scenery that we're flying into today at Port Elizabeth, like Johannesburg OR Tambo, is made by Gaffer Simulations. You can get it on any builds.
Clear for takeoff and we'll report everyone. Africa 1 Tango Lima.
Let's change that. Lovely. Whoa, wind farms over there. That's pretty cool. Look at those patterns. Very nice. Can't see no wind farms yet though. To be fair, actually, it's probably all of that there. It's a little bit too far for us. In fact, yes, there's a wind generator there, turbine, and there's a few more on all of those little holes actually. Perfect. Ian's there, just in the distance. Hopefully you guys can see him.
Comair 6237, expect delay vectors for now, turn right heading 290 and you can descend flight level 80.
Delay vectors, right turn 290 and descend flight level 90, Comair 6237.
Negative flight level 80.
Flight level 80, 6237. Just going to select 240 for now. Change our vertical speed.
Mark 1 Tango Lima airborne passing 1500.
Come off rather.
America 1 Tango Lima, Roger, identified your control, turn right heading 240 degrees, climb flight level 150.
Could you repeat the heading and climbing 150, Mark 1 Tango Lima?
Turn right heading 240.
Right 240, more Africa 1 Tango Lima.
Hit the bar. 1, 2. That's all good. Seatbelt signs on.
Osprey 2472, you have 10 miles to exit and 1 to exit, you are cleared for the RNAV runway 08 and next you can report that unkill.
So, there's Port Elizabeth,
cleared for 08 and we'll report when at unkill for Osprey 2472.
And Ian is there, tiny little blip in the distance. We are about to fly over the Volkswagen factory. Where the hell is that? Ah, it'd be that big thing there on the nose.
Comair 6237, you have 35 miles to touchdown, descend flight level 60.
Roger, descend flight level 60, Comair 6237.
More Africa 1 Tango Lima, turn right now, actually disregard.
Hello Hergy, welcome.
And Comair 6237, you can turn left now, direct to it.
Left direct at Comair 6237. So let's fight easy. Legs. Let's direct to. So we've commanded the heading change first. Now we can go to LNAV. We've already started the aeroplane moving on the turn. Let's get that all the way across to 30. I'm going to set 215 for now, just so we go above the
Well, go on, Tango Lima, direct out of crab.
100
direct
minutes
to
fine, actually.
Moscow 1 Tango Lima.
Get rid of the speed brake. There's the airport. We've got the VFR departure routes there, look, for Port Elizabeth. All the VRPs. Very nice.
Comair 6237, descent altitude 5000 feet, QNH 1015, level by
Descent 5,000 feet, QNH 1015, level for Comair 6237. So speed's below 250.
Moscow 1 Tango Lima, could we stop the climb here? We need to
do flaps 2 for now.
Moscow 1 Tango Lima.
And flap 5. Speed brake arms.
Stop 120, you'll be handed off to South Africa in a
Lights.
second anyway.
And
Actually,
signs.
correction, stop 110, can
One
be
more
handed
check of
off to
the
South Africa in a second.
warning system.
Okay, stop 110.
Ian's there. Ahead of us on the left, on final now.
Elizabeth Flight Suspect 2472 is leaving unkill at the moment.
Osprey 2472, roger, thank you, runway 0, you are clear to land, surface wind 08.
Max 230 knots at unkill, so we're within that.
Clear to land runway 08, Osprey 2472.
And I've extended the flaps because what it's doing is giving the aeroplane a little bit more drag.
Moscow 1 Tango Lima, could we get some vectors? We will be returning back to the airport.
And that's helping keep our speed down a little bit.
Once we have burned some fuel.
Oscar 1
There's the
Tango Lima,
runway.
roger, you're going to expect a bit of a delay for now, so yeah, okay. For now, if you want to just maintain your present heading and
Just 700 foot per minute,
if you
smooth
need
out
to
that descent.
just call me back.
Copy, present heading,
215,
Moscow 1 Tango
fine, we'll
Lima.
hold that. Flap indicators there, Dual.
Comair 6237 via Utsi, you're clear for the runway 08, you are number 2 for the approach.
From Utsi, cleared RNAV 08, number 2, Comair 6237.
Mark, go on, Tango Lima. There's two options I can give you. Right now, a bit.
You can just see its lights there, that's Ian.
If you're heavy, that's not the best plan.
And there's the runway.
The
Got a bit of
other
a sharp turn towards,
idea I can give
and a
you is
steepish
perhaps
approach.
if you want to just continue on to Georgia, other winds are a lot more better. But
I remember we've only got 1,650 metres of usable landing distance. So this is a short touchdown. Order brake max, flaps
Are you
30.
able to go for an approach now?
Slightly
or
quicker
what
because of
do you need to do?
the winds as well, so we're coming in at EREF
we'll
plus
have to
10 instead of
see
plus
in about
5.
5 minutes, give you a status update.
We're going to go
Mark,
INREF
come on, Tango Lima,
626.
Roger. In that case, I'm going to need
Quick refresh of that. Let's get rid of that.
to-
Don't need the
When
hood.
you can, turn direct to the Port Elizabeth VOR and enter the published hold over the VOR.
Copy, turning to Port Elizabeth and holding Moscow 1 Tango Lima.
Set 180 for now. Actually, if we set 200, the aeroplane will want to pitch down a little bit more to get back on profile. 11 miles. So we'll go flap 10. 4 flaps, more drag. Final approach course. Speed's good for gear extension, so I'm going to help the jet and extend our gear as well. Flap 15. Bumpy. Look at the speed tape and the gusts and the wind there, look. Comair 6237, final 08.
Comair 6237, roger, continue, traffic ahead, just about to land.
Roger, visual, Comair 6237. Speed's 180, flaps 25. Engine start, mode selector switches to continuous. Final check of that. That's armed. Gears down 3 green. And flaps 30. My controls. There's Papa Echo 1 Foxtrot. We should be at 2,000 feet and we've not begun the descent yet. So we're going to take action early to try and keep ourselves on the profile. 145, 155 is V2 plus, oh sorry, VREF plus 10. So we're almost there anyway, flap 13 green. We're just hand flyer in. Why not? We'll look ahead, flight directors off and on. Just to recycle those, we'll fly the visual approach.
And Port Elizabeth, Osprey 2472 is exited active at runway 17.
Osprey 24782, welcome to Port Elizabeth, left out of stand
So the speed from the wind changing is changing our airspeed, so we're having to then change our throttle position accordingly with it.
237, runway 08 clear to land, surface wind 80 degrees, 21 knots.
08 cleared land, Comair 6237. 154, a little bit of retrim, just to hold this quite nicely. He says, certainly making it interesting. So remember folks, accuracy, no smoothness. Well, so they're prepared for the missed approach. Otherwise, what we have is the flight directors trying to command something other than what we actually want to achieve. So then it gets confusing. So you recycle the flight directors for an approach like that as well, especially so that it tells the aeroplane to prepare for the next phase as well. If that makes sense. Full concentration. Short runway, windy conditions. It's actually becoming a slight crosswind, probably about 5 to 10 knots gusting as well. Drawing a big line through the centre line, down through the centre of the aeroplane, to try and help establish that. There's a big 10 knot drop there, and you see that in the wind. It's just made us sink slightly. So a little bit of power just to keep us going. Got to hold the speed best as we can. Looking good. It's got 3 white, 1 red on the pappies, but I'm happy with that. Just tiny little corrections.
100.
Way choppy. Okay, here we go. Looking ahead.
50, 30, 10.
Okay, nose wheels down, reverse green.
Africa 1 Tango Lima, could we get vectors around the holding?
My brakes. Well, auto brake max, we smashed it.
My hold function in the FMC
so,
doesn't work.
Got rid of the reversers for now, and auto brakes deactivated. My controls.
Copy.
Touchdown, minus 328 foot per minute, 1.27 G, right on the centre line in the touchdown zone, the early part of it as well, really important. No bounces either, happy days. Can we vacate here? I assume we can. Flaps up and speed brake.
Africa 1 Tango Lima, if you want to forward the request now to South Africa,
retracted.
325, he will sort you out.
128325 and Africa 1 Tango Lima.
Comair 6237, welcome to Port Elizabeth, left Alpha, and stand of your choice. Cheers for flying in, take care.
Left Alpha standard choice, Comair 6237, thanks for the ATC, really appreciate it, have a good day. So, strove steady. Close done. Up there, probes. Look at the windsock. It's the wrong way around. Yeah, winds gusted to 30 knots. Definitely was gusting 30, wasn't it? It's that was a hairy approach.
All stations, Port Elizabeth approach is now closing. If you're really looking to get off the ground, again, you can contact South Africa on that's on 325. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day.
Alpha 4. So yeah. Where's Alpha 4? What was that it? Oh, that's it there. Happy days. APU's online. This is the Gaffer Sim Port Elizabeth Airport scenery. It's a little bit baked on the ground textures, isn't it? It's a little bit weird. But I don't have local knowledge, so I don't know if this is kind of normal for this airport scenery or not. Ian, 9.73, that's a great one. Busy approach, wasn't it? It almost felt quite condensed. Let's get the APU bleed on, the taxi lights off. David says now looks a little funky. This is payware, this is Gaffer Simulations. Purchased it yesterday for today. It's a bit weird looking, isn't it? Marshal up. No, I don't have any seasonal effect mods. Ah, she's been supervised today. She must be a new trainee. Gently on the brakes. Dusty concrete MPS going, yes, pretty much. Brakes. Power brakes set. APU is good. Engines off. That's your fault. I was following your guidance. Needs more training. Right. That's all good, that's all set. We'll go to anti-collision lights off. Over to this menu, FS Actions, Ground Services, chocks. GSX. Request boarding.
Boarding requested.
Here come the steps. I mean, that looks pretty bang on to me. Does look a bit funky though, doesn't it, the textures? Ooh, those stairs. It's all a bit weird, isn't it? David says the colour is right. Awesome. Should we find out how we did on New Sky then, folks, for our touchdown score? So,
Passengers boarding started.
we'll close that. Oh, 9.96 off centreline takeoff. Cheeky buggers. I thought that was bang on. And we got a good touchdown in challenging conditions there as well. Nice simple little flight. What was the profit? About $10,000. All of a sudden the passengers seem to have like disappeared. I don't know where they've gone. Oh well. But here we are, Gaffer Simulations. Ian says he's bought it too, but the ground textures look great on yours. Weird. I wonder if mine's like a DirectX 12 thing. I'd be interested to see what yours looks like in comparison, Ian, in the Discord server. There we are. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live stream. It's only a short one sector, but quite keen to jump back into the Universal Flight Tablet with the PMDG 737 and zoop about with great ATC here at South Africa, which is always a really nice area of the world to go and fly around in. Africa itself is stunning, to be fair. Yeah, definitely a weird texture issue here at this airport. Ian's got a different look on his airport by the sounds of it, but the same scenery. Weird. Andrew says, very nice, Luke. This is why you're #1 for flight scenery, variety of flight routes, and awesome commentary. Really appreciate that, buddy. Great to hear. Keep an eye on the channel. Over the next couple of days we'll be looking to set up the next journey. Not sure where it's going to be around the world. Possibly into La Paz, or out of La Paz, to be fair. With the 787-9, we'll fly a bit of LATAM for a bit of a challenge. That's always an option. But yeah, this is probably a DirectX 12 problem. It's a common issue with tiles and things, but I've not seen it across the whole airport before. Not too bad though, is it? Huge thank you to our VATSIM Sub-Sahara Division ATC on VATSIM. As always, giving us a really warm welcome and fantastic air traffic control services. So give them all a big thank you as well, folks, and go and fly more around the African continent with Osprey on the VATSIM network as well, and you'll get some great controllers helping you out. But in the meantime, as always, thank you very much for watching. Ian and Badger, thank you for flying along, and all of you guys in the chat, wherever you are in the world, thanks for flying along with us, being on board for today's little Comair hop. Enjoy what's left of the week. We're over the halfway point, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Thanks for flying.